Today, I'm going to make and test the weapons our ancestors made and used 30,000 years ago. First, I'll make a rock sling, which is a kind of sling. Why do I call it a rock sling? Because it's called rock slinging in English. And in Turkish, it's just called a sling. I know, it's like this. A sling is held, pulled, and then thrown. But this one is a bit different. Look, this tool here spins over the head and slams it down. Berkan.
We nailed it.
He nails it. Now, first of all, we need some of this polyester paracord rope. Paracord is actually parachute cord. We need 2 meters and 13 centimeters of paracord. Let's take 1 meter from here to there. That's exactly 1 meter. That's 2 meters. If we go a bit further like this, I think we'll have about 213. I cut it right here. After that, this is important. There's a core inside this rope. It shouldn't come out, so we're going to burn it like this. This is a synthetic rope. It won't catch fire. It melts. So be careful with your hands. Same thing here. They've taped this one down. I'll cut this one too. I'll do the same to it. Yes. Let's see. Did we measure 2 meters and 13 centimeters correctly? This table is 195. Seriously, Berkan, hold this from here. Are you a tape measure, man? I swear, it's 213. Well, it's 212 now because I cut the end. It's down to 212, like 212 and a half or so. So it's good enough for us. Then, look, we'll find the exact center. Once we found it, one from here and one from there, look. Then I'll pass it through like this. Then I'll pass this end through here. And the other one through there. What happened? We did something wrong. We're back where we started. I'm doing it again. I passed it over. I tucked it under. Then I passed it through here too. There, it's done. Now I'll do the same from here. I passed it over. I tucked it under like this. Then I passed this through here too. Yes. It worked. It really worked.
This is it.
Got it? This is the first step, guys. We can easily put a tennis ball or something here because it has 3 parts. So it'll be like this. We need to do this movement. Then one end will be for a finger to go through. So we're going to secure it. This is very important. Because if this slips too, there's no telling where that stone will go. So let's do it like this. We did the movement. Look, we made something like this, see? I'm passing one of them through here. While passing one of them under this and holding it, I pull this one towards me, like whoop. Man, are you a sailor or something? Goodness. He's doing well. No, I swear, yeah. Hey, Retin, watch out now. Now, we're going to turn this part into a ball like this. The reason we make it into a ball is, as we swing it like this, we've put this through here, right? So that this part can't slip out from here. Then when we open our finger, it'll go. And we do that like this, my friends. We wrap it around our finger once. We're going to pass it over like this. Look. 1, 2. Then let's take the finger out. Let's pull this end from underneath. Merkan, what more can I do, huh? Honestly, you're good, man. Really, I'm experiencing this for the first time too. I'm not bad. By the way, knotting is a separate art form. The whole knotting thing, of course it is. Managing it on the first try is pretty good, so yeah. Yes, man. We've prepared the tool now. So ancestors, was this it then? We made it, we're off. But the man invented this, brother. He invented it out of necessity. Of course, there's no rope. I mean from leather, from vines, like this. Man, it's very dangerous. Actually, they do one more thing to make it even louder. He attaches another thinner string right here. When throwing, it cuts through the air with a whoosh. Now let's go and give this a try. Let's see. Let's learn. We're still going to learn how to throw it. That's how it is. It is rumored that 12,000 years ago, before agriculture, paracord slinging, the stone sling, was invented. That's what they say. To be honest, I think history is a bit more of an abstract science than a concrete one. But of course, according to the data we have, we know that this was produced 12,000 years ago. Of course, I'm using parachute cord now, but 12,000 years ago, vines and leather were used instead. For hunting. It was also used in wars. Because you'll see its power in a moment. This is a troublesome tool. Don't let the fact that it's just a rope fool you. Now, I have about 30 meters in front of me. I'll throw the stone once by hand and once with the sling. Let's see. I'll throw with the same force, by the way. I won't do anything extra. Before hitting the target, let's see how far it goes. It went far, but it didn't go straight. And I exerted incredibly little effort. One shouldn't just dismiss it as a sling. In fact, I'm holding a thousands of years old engineering marvel in my hand, consisting of various knots. This tool uses the laws of physics to make an ordinary stone almost as dangerous as a bullet. The secret lies in it, artificially extending your arm. Every time you spin the sling, that stone reaches a massive speed and stores a tremendous amount of energy. In fact, professional slingers throw so fast, it breaks the sound barrier and creates that familiar cracking sound, a real sonic boom. According to experimental tests, a stone thrown with this method can go many times beyond one thrown by hand and reach a serious energy of 100 joules. When I said almost like a bullet, this is what I meant. Even though I used the same force, the stone reached 2 or 3 times the distance much faster. This power could even break bones in hunting and warfare. I'll treat the watermelon as an enemy and throw the stone by hand first. Let's see. Ooh, the watermelon looks good too. I'm going to try to smash it. Let's see if it works. Oh, it didn't work. I hit it. A little juice leaked out from here. Now, with our sling, this is a bit dangerous. So I'm going to move the people behind the camera even further back. Because if we don't find the right stone, it slips out and goes backwards. You know, I wonder how many heads were smashed in wars and such. Friendly stone. It's tucked in well now. The thing is, we hook it like this. And we hold it like this. We release this while swinging. Oh, I almost broke my finger too. You should see this right now. Everyone is behind the camera. In position. Man, if this hits, it'll shatter it. Whoa. Look at that. We actually pierced it? But I want to smash it. If it hits around here, it'll go right through. We're hitting it, huh? Is there anything on the board? Damage? We pierced the board right here. Whoa. Man, I really love this job. Now, the pinnacle of this is the sling. Throwing by hand is much harder. It's thrown much faster with a sling. They didn't invent this 12,000 years ago for nothing. Now we're going to look at an even crazier invention. They found this 30,000 years ago. What I'm talking about. Perhaps the strangest of the weapons I mentioned is the atlatl. That's really how it's pronounced. It's spelled atlatl. Let's write it here so there's no mistake. It's a spear, but the spear isn't really the point. The point is how the spear is thrown. They hold a roughly 2-meter bamboo spear with a hand tool like this and throw it like that. So we're going to make the hand tool out of this. By the way, they put it right here. Hey, Retin probably already put the footage over me. Hey, Retin. Then they hold it by this end and throw it like whoosh. Making this isn't very hard. It's not easy either, because we don't have 2-meter bamboo. But throwing it will be the really hard part, because it requires some expertise here. There's this guy, look, Hop. He can hit wherever he wants. He's not wearing many clothes. One of those barefoot and half-naked types. It means if the man doesn't hit it, he goes hungry tonight. So they actually learn to hit very well. Hitting it. But I'll learn too. I'll hit the target with the atlatl spear. Now, first we need to turn this into a launcher. And the thickness is quite good for this. I want to make a drawing like this. In this direction, we'll make this part a bit more of a straight line. Of course, we won't have any problems there. Our tool will be made from this part. The rest is just scrap wood. Now we're at the bandsaw. Let's start cutting. Let's see. Yeah, now if we throw it like this, it'll cut our fingers. We're going to round these parts off nicely. We'll round this part off too. And we'll make it smoother like this. Smooth. Darn it. I mean, we'll make it softer. Now guys, we've got it. Our belt sander, and we'll make this softer. Like I said before, What I need to watch out for here is not overdoing the handle part. By thinning it too much, here we go. Now I'll fix it up a bit by hand. With 320 grit sandpaper, I'll smooth the edges well. Though I won't spend too much time on it, honestly. Don't expect a masterpiece, because that's not our goal today. Today our goal is to make a spear weapon from ancient times. Putting our fingers here. We'll throw it like this. It turned out pretty good. We came to buy bamboo. Look, they've hung them like this. If there's one like this, it'll do the job. Is there a straighter one?
What will you use it for?
We're going to make a spear. A spear. Can I take a look at these? Those weren't straight.
Yeah, this is quite good.
Okay.
We need to have a small rod-like thing at the back to fit in here. And I'll use this screw for that, so it stays fixed here and doesn't slide up while holding it. Because we're going to throw it like this. Otherwise it won't hold, it'll fly off. I'll drill it at a slight angle, not exactly 90 degrees, but slightly. Yes. The hole is here. Our bolt will be right here. See, it's a nice angle, isn't it?
Well, it seems to have worked.
Should I give it a try?
However, we're going to try it.
This? Yes. Look, we couldn't hold it before, it was slipping. But look now, it really stays quite stable. I'm doing it with my finger. Man, I can't even turn it. We're gonna knock something down. Seriously. I'm just supporting it with this. Now let's attach the tip, man. We got a drill bit like this. We'll shorten it a bit like this. We'll reduce the 3 meters to 2 meters anyway. Where should we cut it? If we seat the base here, right? Yes. If the tip stays out this much, we should cut it from here. Or we'll cut it from here. Goodness, it's fibrous. The fibers are holding it now. There we go. Yes. It turned out quite well. This is our tip.
People show off nail polish and lipstick.
This is our thing. We've developed our own methods, guys. We're going to do this. Yes, it looks good. Using epoxy is important here. Because we can't glue it any other way. We'll pour it inside this. Oh, Burkan, lift it up. I can't. All right, then. We're attaching the tip, guys. Ah, of course, it's slipping right now.
It overflowed a bit around the edges.
When the contents got compressed, it came out. I'm taking care of those with a final touch. We'll add feathers to the back. Of course, I can't find a feather like that. It needs to be at least 15 centimeters. I'll make something 16 or 17 centimeters long. I've glued them on top of each other here, guys. And I'm folding it like this. I'm going to cut this from the ends like this. Actually, I'll cut one side. I'll show you how I'll cut the other one. I'll cut up to this white part. I'll cut up to the sticky part. Yes. Like this from both ends, like a ship. Let's make one more. Because we need to make 3. We have to make them the same size now, so it can maintain balance from now on. We have a serious problem. The iron at the tip is so heavy that the balance is gone. Look, the balance is achieved around here. Because we put this much iron there, like an idiot. Now we'll do this. I'll cut it from here. We'll cut the tip of this and attach it here. This way, we'll only work with this much iron. Only. We went from this much to this much. Now it'll work. Yes, our spear is ready. Look, we've attached our feathers too. Our tip is ready as well. Now I'll do the hand test and the atlatl test. First, I'll throw it by hand. I'll see how stable and far it goes. Then I'll throw it with the atlatl. It's not just about going far here. It also needs to cover this distance quickly at the same time. Because this is a hunting tool.
That's the situation.
Man, it goes much faster. I can hear the sound. Since it's my first time using an atlatl, guys, I couldn't throw it very well. But I will. It's stuck, man. But it needs to go straight. I'm positioning myself and making myself a part of it. I'm pushing it with my whole body. That's the point. Because if we push it up into the air like this, I mean, if we throw it like that, it doesn't work. I need to throw it in this direction. It went through either way. I understand why they use the atlatl. Because you can throw it much faster using the same amount of power. I know the name is weird, the L at the end. It's really there. The atlatl is actually an invention that instantly turns the human arm into a giant lever. This tool acts as a joint that artificially extends the length of your arm. When you use this launcher, instead of just throwing the spear by hand, the spear reaches a much higher speed because your throwing distance increases. I made this tool at home with zero experience and no mechanical knowledge. Despite that, the tool worked. The spear I threw, which I used for the first time in my life, went almost 1.5 to 2 times the distance more steadily. Ancient warriors who knew how to use this tool well could throw the spear 3 times further than by hand. This technology was a complete turning point for our ancestors. Because thanks to this, they could make lethal strikes from a safe distance without approaching dangerous prey or enemies. Now friends, we've decided on something like this. That cabbage behind me is getting lost in this beautiful natural environment. In the video, I mean, you won't be able to see it clearly. So I'm going to put an X on it with spray paint. I even painted it like this, it'll look even better. Now let's throw this spear by hand. Oh boy, it went too far. How are we going to hit this in our lives? As if for goodness sake we were born with a spear. I'm a fan of our self-confidence. We see it, we can do it. What are you doing? The man was born to it. He has nothing but his underwear. He's hanging out with a spear in his hand. If he doesn't throw it, he'll starve. Exactly. Whoa. We stuck it in by hand, huh? 1 layer. It went inside. Yes, now we'll try with the atlatl. Let's see if I can hit it with this.
That's the main thing.
Look at the confidence. I have a 2-meter spear in my hand. I'm going to hit the cabbage with the atlatl. There's an L at the end, huh? I'm going to hit it, man. Let me tell you this. Did we try 20 times by hand? I only tried twice with this, and I was able to hit the target I wanted instantly. Now I want to show you another primitive weapon that you've requested a lot. To you. How sharp is obsidian? I'm back in the workshop. I want to say a few things about the obsidian knife. The obsidian knife is perhaps one of the oldest weapons or tools in history. Obsidian has been used since the very beginning of human history. I mean, some say 2 million years for this, some say more recently. But what is known is that volcanic glass, that is obsidian, is perhaps the first raw material for the first hand tools, knives, or spearheads and arrowheads. Now we have 4 pieces of obsidian here. Under normal conditions, you need about this much obsidian to make an obsidian knife. Finding that much obsidian is incredibly difficult, especially in Turkey. We found small pieces. What were these for? They used these small pieces to make things like arrowheads and spearheads. There are different ways to do this. Actually, there are these copper-tipped sticks that aren't sold in Turkey either. You place them on leather like this. Tap, 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 tap by hitting it. You break it and create a very fine edge on the large obsidian. But since we don't have that, what will we do? We'll break off a piece. Then we'll test its sharpness. While trying to break the obsidian, let me say this. There's a claim going around that obsidian knives are sharper than steel. But is this true? Actually, obsidian or volcanic glass can create an incredibly smooth edge when broken thanks to its atomic structure. This theoretically gives it the title of the world's sharpest material. However, when it comes to professional tests, steel takes the lead. Because simply put, steel isn't as brittle as glass, and we create a perfect cutting edge when making a knife. Obsidian's edge is more random due to its nature. In short, while obsidian is the most impressive single-use sharpness nature produces, modern steel, with both its durability and controlled smoothness, is still unrivaled in daily life. Let's see if it can cut this. Look, this part is sharp. It makes this scratch. Can I have a fruit? Hatish? Tomato. By the way, tomato is one of the hardest things to cut. It cuts quite well too. We can tear it to pieces. Now let's cut the orange. It cuts incredibly well. It really cuts with surgical precision. Let me show you. The camera might not see it from there. Look, surgical precision, it's really scary. Look, let me show you again from here. This is the thin side, right? Look how it goes in. Scalpel. Exactly. Look at the smoothness of the cut. Look at this. And this is the one we just cut. So, if sharpened correctly, we're talking about terrifying sharpness. So, as I said, if we use obsidian correctly, find the right size, and process it with the right tools, we get a knife with scalpel-like precision. The legend of the obsidian knife is not something to be dismissed. The world's first tool. But we can also understand why it was the world's first tool from its sharpness. Among these ancestral weapons, my favorite was the atlatl. Which one is yours? Thanks for watching.